Welcome to this episode of the Down the Pub podcast. On this episode, I'm joined by OKC energy player and Canadian under-23 international, Aiden Daniels. Welcome to the show, bud.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, I'm really psyched. I had Charlie on, and he talked really highly of you, so I thought I'd give you a shout and try and get you on too. So we usually kind of warm people up with just a few easy kind of questions. So, who was your favorite team growing up and why?
Growing up, Barcelona. They went through that time frame where they were just unbeatable, and my favorite player of all time was Andres Iniesta. So him being on that team was just went hand in hand. And two, my dad's a Real Madrid fan, so
love it. A little bit of a healthy competition never hurt anybody, right? What's your favorite cheat meal?
I'd have to say this Jamaican dish called oxtail. Rice and peas, fried plantain, fried dumplings, all that.
Love it. So Charlie Ward is your roommate. What's his best and worst habits?
To be honest, he doesn't have any bad habits that I picked up on. Maybe like kind of just like fidgeting with his nails a bit, but that's something like, I do as well. So his best habit is being a great professional, man. He's a great role model for me. 2 years ago, we met in Ottawa, and since then we've become very close, and he's been a good role model for me.
I love it. So basically he just like spits his nails all over your house. So that's all right. It's fine. So you've kind of been a little bit of, you've been in Colorado, Toronto, Ottawa, as you mentioned. So you're in OKC this season. So how are you finding life in Oklahoma?
It's not bad. I mean, last year, I didn't really get to live with the whole COVID experience, and, it took away from a lot of things. But, being here in OKC, I've been welcomed into the group by a lot of the guys that have returned, and I've enjoyed my time here so far. I mean, the city's nothing like Toronto, but I think it's good for me to get a change and see a smaller city. It's a tight-knit community here, which is nice.
So is it kind of like just a slower pace and a little bit more laid back?
Very, very, very much slower pace. Like you go downtown on a weekend, it's like you see very little cars, something like that. Like in opposed to Toronto, where you're going there on a Wednesday night and it's traffic. Like, so it's nice. It's like I haven't dealt with traffic once since I've been here, so it's nice.
Amazing. I'm in Halifax, so I know where you're coming from. It's so much nicer just on a Friday night, just like being kind of calm and no crazy people around. So so the team itself, it's had a bit of a rough start to the season. I think you went like seven or eight games without actually getting your first win. But now you've kind of powered up the table. You kind of turned it around. So what do you think has changed with the team to kind of turn the fortunes around like that?
I think just having so many new guys in a team, it's hard to gel right away. And then opposed to last season where you only had 16 games, this season we had a bit more time to gel and be cohesive. So I think that having a bit more time and just learning about each other tendencies, and when Lee took over after John Pastorella, I think he had a good understanding of what the players wanted and how we played. So I think a lot of credit goes to him, but as players we stepped up because we were tired of losing, and as much as winning is a habit, so is losing, and you just have to break that cycle, and I think we've done well since that time.
Yeah, I mean, like when I was talking to Charlie, like we were talking, and like you weren't losing games like by 5 or 6-0. It was like, just took the odd goal in here. So it looked like you were on the right path. It just needed that little kind of tweak. So like when John left and Lee took over, like what were some of the changes he did to the group to kind of make his push on to that next level?
I think our biggest one was a formation change. We had been playing a 4-3-3 or 4-4-2 the first like 8 or 9 games. And then once Elite took over and we had some new acquisitions and guys were training well, we switched to a 3-5-2. So it gave us a bit of a different look, and we become more solid defensively. And I think that's like one of the forefronts of why we've been able to pick up results on the road, And just, yeah, like we're seeing out games now, and we're in, as the beginning of the year, you know, like guys would switch off for 1 second and then we'd lose, you know, in the last 10 minutes of the game, or, you know, but I think the formation change has been huge. And I think guys have just really like, you know, got over losing. Like we're just tired of it. And, you know, no one wants to lose. I hate losing. I know a lot of the guys on the team hate losing. So, you know, it was just one of them where we had to just flip a switch, and you know, it didn't matter who was coach. I think we were just tired of it.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, it's as you said, like losing can become a habit, and it definitely sucks when it's just happening week in, week out. So, like for yourself, then, how did your role change within the team then, like position wise, and what you're being asked to do?
So yeah, like at the start of the season, I started as an attacking mid, as the 10. And then I got put out to the left wing, which I was comfortable with. And then yeah, now I'm back in the mix in the middle, which I'm more than comfortable with. But I think as a team, we all understand our roles and responsibilities. So I think yeah. I mean, I haven't really changed my role. Like I know my place in the team. I know what my teammates want and expect of me. So it's just holding myself accountable in moments in the game and in training, and then just holding myself to that standard as well.
So, like, he's are in the playoff position right now, which is incredible considering the season start that you had, and I think you just drew against Louisville in your last game, which was, you know, they're kind of running away with your division. So, what do you think you need to do to make sure you're in that playoff spot come the end of the season?
Yeah, I think it's just turning our draws into wins. You know, last game we drew Louisville 1-1, and it was kind of a passage of play where, you know, the ref didn't call a foul for us, and then they countered. We made a silly foul, and then, you know, it's just managing moments like that where, you know, something's not going our way, and managing the game, because you know, that instead of 1 point we could have had three. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think it's turning those draws that we've had into results, like a win. You know.
But when you're coming along, like stretches like that, like, I mean, it's those little moments. Like, that's why I think football is just a lot of like little moments, and it's just kind of countering those little moments to make sure that they don't happen, I guess, right? So has the kind of senior players that within the group kind of stepped up as well, like to kind of make sure that you are kind of focusing a lot more on what your job is and what you need to be doing?
Yeah, for sure. I think Mitch and Connor are two center backs. They've really taken a leadership role. I mean, Connor's our captain, but, you know, Mitch has stepped up. You know, Charlie stepped up. It's just like, even today in film, we were just talking about the fine details of matches, and, you know, just little things like that are gonna count, especially now coming into this time frame of the season that we really need to focus on, and, you know, just as I said, manage the game, and focus on the little things, because we're all fit now. We all know each other. It's just focusing on the little things that are gonna get us over that line.
So like I was kind of talking to Charlie before, but like when I was talking to him, I think fans had just started coming back and stuff for that. So I don't think he really had a full view of what it was like the city itself as a kind of a football town. So like, what's the fan base like? Like, what's the match day experience like for you guys? And like, do people know you on the street when they see you?
I feel like a lot of cities in the USL, you know, it's still a growing league. I mean, it's not a prestige league yet, but it's growing. And I mean, the match day experience here for me has been good. I think we get a decent amount of fans, and the returning fans every week are, you know, out every weekend. Every time we're home, you know, banging their drums with the flares and all that. So it's really nice to see. And then, you know, there's so many like youth teams and kids that come, and it's just nice to see, because, you know, like I didn't get that growing up to see pro team, until, you know, I was till 2007, which was TFC. And, you know, at that point I was already like playing on weekends and stuff, and I was busy. I couldn't even go to those games yet. So, you know, the match day experiences here are nice. You know, home games are always nice. You get to see the fans. You know, you get to chill out at home before you go grab a coffee. But yeah, I've been recognized a couple times, but nothing crazy.
No, no, like signing arms so they tattoo your signature and all that kind of stuff.
Nothing like that.
so,
Just that.
so, so growing up in Toronto, like like Canada is a hockey mad country, as you know. So where did the love of football come from? Like, is it your dad, or is it just you just picked it up yourself?
Yeah, it was my dad. So I come from a family of footballers. So my grandfather actually played for Sporting back in the day. Um,
Wow.
during the apartheid. So it was like a crazy time because I'm half South African. So my grandfather was playing for Sporting during the apartheid, but unfortunately he had to come home back to South Africa just due to like family circumstances with the secret police and all this stuff. And then him and my grandma and my uncle and my father, they actually um, fled to England. And then my grandfather got offered a contract by Tottenham and Ipswich,
Wow.
and he declined both and said, I'm going to take my family to Canada and have a better life. So yeah, like it came from them. My dad played. Unfortunately, he tore his Achilles on his pro trial,
Oh,
and
wow.
he was done after that. But yeah, my mom was into sports as well, but not into football. I think they put me in football at like age 3, and ever since then I've just loved the game. So yeah, I would say it's more from my dad's side.
I love it. It says a lot about Tottenham and Ipswich that a better life was moving to Canada,
Yeah.
huh? So, like, you grew up in the TFC academy. What's the academy like? But what's the setup like? And how did it help you develop as a player?
Honestly, my time at TFC was amazing. Like when I joined, I was I think 13, and I stayed there till I was 20. So
Wow.
those years were amazing. Like the academy setup. I mean, at that time they were just introducing like the 98 age group, 99 age group, and then the 2000 age group. And it was only 97 and 96, I believe. And now they're down to like under eights. So
Wow.
the academy has grown immensely, and the setup there is just it's world class. Honestly, like I've seen some facilities. I've been to Denmark for a training stint. I've seen theirs, like, and TFC by far to me has been, well, it was home. It was a second home to me. So obviously I'm gonna love the place, but it was one of the first like training facilities in all of MLS where it was like your own pitches, your chefs, your own first team locker room, like stuff like that. So growing up in that was amazing. I got to see the first team guys train, use an excellent gym whenever I wanted. The trainers were all attending to our needs. The chefs, we even had a education advisor. So once you got to grade, I want to say grade 8, like you could go and go do your homework before training, and she'd be there to help you. They
Wow.
they really spoiled us, man, and it wasn't a shock for me to go to Ottawa, but like not the standard it dropped, but it was just like holy, like I've been spoiled.
That's so. I mean, like, I don't think people, like, even in Canada, realize like how, like, I didn't know that TFC's academy was that good. Like, so, like, in terms of like teaching you the basics of football and like your craft. What was the training sessions like? What was the coaches like? Like, was it like one of those kind of things where you're almost like crying by the end of the week? You're training so hard, or is it like you're just like learning so much that you're just loving every minute of it?
I think what made TFC Academy for me the most enjoyable is that everyone wanted to be there and like continue to grow as players. And as you move up in the age groups, you see new guys come in, but the majority of the group is the same guys you've been training with for years already. So you build that friendship and brotherhood, and it's just like you want to see everyone succeed. So you just keep pushing every day, and when for me, the first guy that made the first team that were in my shoes was Liam Frazier, and I was like, man, like he's one of my closest friends, and I was like so happy for him, and I think the coaches instill that type of culture. It's like a family there. So, even on the hardest days of we were just sprinting and doing fitness, like guys were picking each other up off the ground at like 14 years old. Like, you wouldn't even think of doing that in a high school, you know. So when we were training, you know, we were all so cohesive and we just wanted everyone to do well. So I think the coaches there, you know, shout out to like Michael Stefano who helped me grow. He was my first coach there. Rick Titus when he was there. Anthony Capitoso, he was there. Just so many great coaches in the academy, and the thing was is they were all great humans. So even when you were like on the pitch with them and they were screaming at you because you were having a bad game or you had a loose touch, whatever, like off the field they were like almost like your father. They were just such a great role model, and they like held themselves to a standard which made us want to hold ourselves to a different standard as well.
That's amazing because, like, you know, you hear so many stories about like the clubs in England where they almost like step over each other because it's so cutthroat. Like they all want to get ahead, and like I think there was a podcast last year when one guy was talking about taking out one of his fellow pros in a training session so he could make the team that weekend.
Yeah.
Like, and hearing what TFC were doing, it just seems like the complete polar opposite. So, do you still follow a lot of the players that you played with at TFC and see where their careers are now?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely in my age group, I have a lot of friends because I played against them. I was with them at provincials, and a lot of us went through TFC like almost till 13 to 20. So yeah, I follow a lot of guys. I'm still in contact with a lot of them. You know, at the end of the day, as I said, you know, we built that culture of being brothers in the locker room, off the field, on the field. You know, I still want the best for everyone.
There's like obviously like the CPL has started, and a lot of TFC guys have had a chance to keep their careers going, like in the CPL, or they're going on loan, like Rocco Romeo and stuff like that. So, have you been kind of keeping your eye on the CPL? Like, have you been watching any of it?
Yeah, I've been watching since the first year. One of my good friends, Tristan Borges, was he's been
The man.
the man in CPL. So I watch him. Now I got some guys in Ottawa that I played with, Telfer, Chris Manella. So yeah, I indulge here and there and watch the game, and just now the standard from now to like from 2 years ago, it's grown so much.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I mean, like Tristan, like got the big move. He was like the big success story, and now he's back at Forge. But like, you can see how the game has moved on, and like how much he was standing out from 2 years ago. He's kind of just slightly above of the players that are there right now. So, if would it be something that you'd like, if you were given the opportunity, that you'd want to maybe like do, or are you happy like playing in the States?
I'm never gonna say no to an opportunity. I think in this business you can't say no, because if you say no and you got this opportunity and then that opportunity is done, you know what I mean? You've burnt a bridge. So I'm never gonna say no. And obviously, yeah, I would love to come home and finish my career. But you never know. I can't say no. I mean, the league is growing, so that's obviously a positive. And yeah, I mean, I know some of the coaches, and I've been coached by them in the past. So yeah, I wouldn't say no.
Yeah. So you heard it here first. Aiden Daniels in the CPL next year playing for Let's Go Ottawa. So like obviously like you played in Ottawa. You went on loan from TFC, and that's where you played with Charlie and Chris and stuff like that. Like, so when I was talking to Charlie, like he just talked about how much he loved that season in Ottawa, and how close you guys were to actually achieving a lot. So how was your time in Ottawa? Did you enjoy the city? Did you enjoy the football? And like it's a football town. Like, there is quite a good supporters group there too. So did you enjoy the fans and stuff like that too?
Yeah. So personally, for me, I didn't have a great year football wise. I didn't play much, and then I got hurt for like 5.5 months. But off the pitch, I think that was like one of the, like, I would say the last 4 months of that season, it was probably like the best time of my life so far. Just being with the guys, we grab dinner, just hang out, play FIFA, and it was just a good time, a good city. Really slow pace compared to Toronto, which was nice, but you still got that feel of a big city. But football wise, on me, I could have maybe done better. I could have pushed myself a bit more, but when I got hurt, it was just kind of like, this is just bad thing after bad thing. And then, I kind of went into a little bit of a dark place. I was away from home for the first time. I was 19. I didn't really know anyone besides, a couple of the guys. And it was tough, but, guys like Charlie, another guy named Dakota, I had a lot of guys on the team that were just trying to lift me up. And at the end of the day, like, they really helped me out of that place. And, I just started training and playing for me. And yeah, like I got the move to Colorado, and I've been enjoying football again ever since. But as you said, the fans there they were great. They really came out in numbers. I enjoyed it. I know the other guys did there, but to hear that they got like 12,000 on the first game back for Atletico Ottawa was like crazy. I was like, damn.
Yeah, they actually played against Halifax, and like being honest, like they've been kind of they're the newest franchise, and they've kind of been struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
But the crowd just pushed them forward in that game. It was like, obviously I'm from Halifax. I want the Wanderers to win, but it was kind of one where I was like kind of happy that Ottawa won. It was kind of a nice way for them to kick it off at home and stuff like that. And the first game they got 12,000, but they've been kind of getting 4,000-5,000 like per game, which is like, I think is huge for a league like this, especially like when you're competing against like hockey and TFC and stuff like that. So I think they've done a fantastic job, and getting somebody like Atletico in is a great coup for the league too. I can't believe that Atletico Ottawa will be interested in Canada.
It was just a shame how Ottawa Fury folded. Like, I knew so many guys wanted to come back and resign just based off the year that we had. And like Julian de Guzman was bought into the team, and we were all like super excited. And then myself, I was getting released from TFC, so I was like, Ottawa's a perfect fit. I can work my way up again, and it's a good standard. I'm not too far from home. And then when it folded, we were all like, oh my god, like it was kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah, I mean, like when I was talking to Charlie there, like it was kind of, it seemed like it was a surprise to you as much as everybody else. But like I remember at the time, and I think this is the problem where the way that the leagues are structured is that like politics just came into it, and like Canada soccer pulled rank, and I don't think anybody really cared or looked at how much of effect it was going to have on you guys. Because I mean, at the end of the day, you're all young guys who need to pay your bills, right? And then suddenly like a team folding on the back of, I think there was definitely a better way for them to do it. And I think had they just kind of, I think the Fury were a better franchise myself to keep in Canada rather than Atletico coming in, because I don't know, I just think it's a bit weird, like Atletico Ottawa doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? But it is what it is, right? And like they've been, sorry,
like Atletico Ottawa came out of nowhere. We were like, Fury just folded, and then we were like, oh, Atletico Ottawa, is it the same owner? We were like so confused.
Yeah, and as I said, I mean, it was just a shame because you guys had obviously built up like such a great team and a bond that, like, you were kind of just ready to take off. So as you said, you're in a kind of dark. I don't want to dwell on it too much, but you're in a kind of dark place. But was that because, like, obviously you've been at TFC for most of your life playing football, and then did you feel that you were coming to the end of your time there, and was it just like a little bit like wondering what the next chapter is going to be, kind of thing? Or
yeah, I think it was that. And I, like, for me, I know my ability and I know what I can do. It was just bad timing. Like, I got hurt right at the end of preseason, so I was late going on loan to Ottawa. They had already played 2 games, and then I was coming off the bench. And then as soon as I was about to start a game, I got the nod, I got hurt. And then it was just like, as I said, it was bad thing after bad thing after bad thing. And then, my grandma had passed away in that summer. I was away from home. I was injured, and it was just really tough. Like, the only positives were the team was doing well. And, that was it. Like,
I honestly don't think that people realize how hard it is for like a 19-year-old to be away from home for the first time and just in a strange city, and you're just living in digs with a bunch of other guys, and it's a very lonely existence, especially when you're injured. Like, so, like, I mean, it's great that you're able to kind of get through it, and like a lot of guys would have just gave up. You know what I mean? So like, what at the end of TFC, like, what was that conversation like when they said, like, we're going to not re-sign your contract? Like, is it, because obviously I haven't been there, so is it kind of like just a cutthroat, it's like you're out the door, or is it like they sit you down and they kind of give you your options? Like, what's the conversation like?
So yeah, like I was coming off injury, so they were like, yeah, we're not gonna re-sign you to the first team, but since you're healthy now, we'd love for you to come to preseason and maybe earn your spot back, maybe earn a first team contract, or you can sign for TFC 2, which is going to be in USL League 1. And right away I said, no, I'm not going to drop from USL Championship and go down another league, because I know what I can do. You guys have signed me to a first team contract. You obviously know what I can do. So what's the point of, going back down? And they were like, no, we understand. We completely agree. It was just an option for you. We love you as a person. So we want you in the club. And I said, I appreciate all that, but I think it's time for me to move on. And I've been here 7 years. You guys have helped me grow into a man, into the player I am. But I think it's time for me to just move on, because, at some point in my career, I wasn't just gonna sit there and just go on loan here, go on loan there, sit on the bench. And I was just taking my career for the longevity, like. So I made the decision to go to Colorado. That opportunity came up with Alan Koch, and I played against him for years with TFC2. And then when he called me, I was like, oh yeah, because he's been so successful in the league, and yeah, I was just excited to get a fresh opportunity to prove myself, and go back to where I was before I got hurt, and back to playing how I can.
Yeah, I love that you had that confidence to kind of like not stand up for yourself, but have the guts to say, I know where I'm at. Because a lot of people would have just taken the contract because it's the easy route, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really impressive. So I didn't realize that you played with Alan in Colorado, because he's obviously the manager of FC Edmonton right now. So like he's slowly but surely turning things around in Edmonton. Yeah. They kind of had ups and downs, but what's he like as a coach? Because he seems like like when you hear him talk in press conferences and stuff like that, like he knows a lot about the game. Like he's kind of clued in. What's he like as a coach on the day to day?
He was great with me. I mean, I have nothing but good things to say about him. I'm still in contact with him, and we still talk here and there. But yeah, I mean, he pushed me to a different level last year. He knows what I can do, and he's seen it. So he really pushed me, and along with the assistants there, Kyle Tim and Chase Robertson, they're no longer with the club as well. But they're all three of them were like really, really. They had my back, and even if I wasn't performing, I had one game where they took me off at half last season, because I don't know where I was like, my head was gone, I was playing terrible, and the next game I started again, and it was just having that belief in me, which really gave me confidence to express myself and play. So nothing but good things to say about Alan. Great guy, great person to have as a coach, and
yeah, I mean, like Edmonton's definitely a franchise that needs to work in Canada, because the Canadian men's team is going to be playing a couple of games in Edmonton, and I think they need to have a strong team, and I think there's no better man to push that franchise forward than himself. So like you kind of just spent one season in Colorado, so like was it just like a mutual thing at the end of the season? Like how was did you enjoy your time there? More importantly, like how did you find yourself?
I definitely enjoyed my time there. I think my football came out again, and I finally found like my joy of football again after being injured and not playing in Ottawa. Found my joy again, which was really huge for me. But I had re-signed for this season, but a new coach came in, and he like just switched things around, and I was told one thing and something else happened. So at the end of the day, I was willing to work for an opportunity under this new coach, because either way it would have been a fresh start, even if I went to another team. But John had reached out to my agent and myself and said, look, we know Aiden, we like Aiden, we want to bring Aiden in, so let's make it happen. And I approached the coach. I said, hey, look, like, I'm willing to stay here and work, but there's another team that are willing to give me minutes, and they know what I can do already. And he was really nice about it. He said, look, I don't want to hold you back because you're a great player, but you just won't fit in the system that we're trying to play here. And I said, no problem. And that was that.
Wow, it's like it's just such a ground up way of like, it's like people just having like proper conversations with each other and just just being adult about it. So how much of a pull was it to play with Charlie again though? Like was that like part of the reason too?
This guy was like, oh, bro, come here. The whole time we were trying to finalize the deal, like I was telling Charlie right away, like I was like, yo, bro, I'm signing this day. And he already knew before the whole like story came out. So yeah, he definitely was a big pull for me to come here because at that time I was talking to a couple other clubs, but I knew OKC was a big club in the USL. They put money into the team. The standards high, good facility, good housing, and then my best mates here. So I was like, yeah, it just made sense.
Love it. So I mean, like, when he was at Ottawa, he was known as the pass master. But like, what's it like playing alongside somebody like Charlie that has like his passing accuracy is like every game is usually over like 85%, 90%. Like when you go to make that run, like he's gonna play the ball. Like, do you guys have that intuition?
Yeah, I feel like me and Charlie, like we're more of the combo type guys. So I'll come short and we'll connect the 3-4 passes, and then I'll always look for him. If my back is to goal, he's the first guy I look for. And then I'm sure when he turns from the center backs, I'm the first guy he looks for. So I think, yeah, we have a good relationship, and, he helps me every day. I try and help him, like, maybe like take your touch this way instead of that way. And, we're pretty hard on each other. And I think that's why we have such a good friendship off the field, is because we push each other every day. But yeah, like, as you said, I think he's the best passer in the league, and he's not your typical 6 now that's just in there to crunch guys and pass to the creative players. Like, he can create just by his passing. So I think honestly, for me, he's a rarity in this league now with the typical 6. So it's, yeah, for me as an attacking midfielder, for him to like have him passing me the ball in pockets or in behind, it's like, it's just a dream, honestly.
Just speaking of like you were kind of mentioning that, like, this season you've really, like, you're playing a lot better and stuff like that. Like last month, I think it was against Memphis, you scored like probably one of the contenders for goal of the season. Can you talk us through it? Because very rarely people are going to get a chance in their life to score a goal like that. So from your point of view, what was it like?
I don't know, man. Like, for some reason, I only score goals like that. Like,
you poor bastard.
It's happened in my life, in my career yet. But yeah, I hit a corner, and then it came out to me on the second or third ball, and then I played Charlie. I wanted him to shoot, and then the defender came across to block his shot, and I was still wide open at the corner of the 18. So I called for it back, and I just took my touch, and my mind was set already. Like, I just, and I just hit it nice, and it just went in. I was just like, finally. Because like the past like 3-4 games before that, I was like hitting shots from all over. Keeper were making crazy saves, and it was just like finally a nice weight to get off my shoulders, and yeah.
So as soon as you hit it, did you know it was in?
As soon as I hit it, I knew it would have troubled the keeper. But the guy who like tried to block my shot, like, kind of got on my way, and I only saw it like at the last second go into the net.
Oh, I'll put it on the Instagram page. I'll put a clip of it. It's a peach. And you scored another goal that which wasn't a simple tap in either in that game, but that one definitely stood out. So, you were part of Canada's Olympic qualifying squad this year, and we came really close. Like I think we played incredibly well. So like that these are the next crop of players that are going to come through for Canada. Like, so, like, how good are these players that are coming through, and how bright is the future for Canadian football?
I think from even when I was in the U15, like, just the players that we have now. I think I was the only one that wasn't in Europe or MLS at the camp. So which is crazy to me, because at U20 qualifiers there was some guys without even a club, So I think now they're getting players in good environments, and they're getting their selections right, because now look at the men's team, like they're dominant in CONCACAF, like they're a dominant force. So I think now that some of the guys have been exposed to the senior men's national team. Like you had a guy like Tajon, who had been to just a January camp, and now he's emerging as one of the best players on the men's team. Yeah, so it's just like you guys got guys like Zach Broguillard from Montreal as a fullback, Patrick Metcalf, Baldissimo, even Baloo still, he's still around. So there's just so much talent that can come through. It's just waiting to get those opportunities and taking them, like Tajon did.
Yeah, I mean, like the great thing is that so many of them are coming through the academies, like Vancouver, Montreal, Toronto. Like, it's great to see that the investment the MLS teams are putting in is definitely coming through into the senior team. But like, speaking of Tajon, like, what a year the guy's had. It's like he was doing okay for New England, and now he's like the star of the national team. He's got his big move to Europe. I mean, like, what's he like as a person? Is he kind of humble? And like, can you see when you were training with him that he's special?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's a humble kid. I mean, I think he's only a year younger than me, but he carries himself like a grown man, and he's done well for himself, man. Like, to come from the prep school to Syracuse and then just straight away like MLS minutes, and for him, his like stock has just gone up. And yeah, like in training, he's class. He's a good person, and he's very humble. And some of the guys that are that young and have accomplished as much as him aren't as humble. You know what I mean? So I think that shows a lot about him and his character, and why he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah, he definitely carries himself with like a lot of class, and I think like, I think it's Club Bruges. I think he's gone to in Belgium. Like, what a bargain they've got, because I mean, they got him at the right time, right before the qualifiers, and his stock is just like, like,
Sure.
I think New England are probably kicking themselves that they kind of let him go so soon and we didn't wait till the end of the season. But for yourself, you obviously had a bit of a chance yourself in the MLS. You came on for some minutes. Obviously, was in a 5-1 loss to Charlie's Houston. I think Charlie was playing for Houston at the time. He was on the bench. But like, apart from the 5-1 loss, what was it like coming into the MLS and getting those kind of minutes yourself?
It was a blessing, honestly. Like, just for me to get in and make my debut was a dream come true, because that's what I worked for since I was 3 years old, to make a first team in a top league in a country's debut. And it happened. So I was really grateful for Greg at that time, who had put me on. It was just unfortunate that we didn't win, and I didn't get a long opportunity to prove myself. But I'm still grateful that I got to experience that. But yeah, I mean, for me, I didn't think it was 5-1 at the time, so Houston was just chilling. But I thought the speed was fine. I thought I would have adjusted well, but coulda, shoulda, woulda type of thing. I'm just grateful for the opportunity.
What was the atmosphere like coming into, like, obviously you're playing away from home. The home crowd are probably on top of the world because they're 5-1 up. But like, what was it like playing against that kind of partisan like home crowd?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like, I don't think it was a crazy amount of fans at the game. But obviously going into a game where it's 5-1, any little mistake, the crowd's like, hey. Like, it's definitely cool. But I think the best crowd I've ever played against was Cincinnati, man. Like, when they were in the USL, they were getting like 25 to 30,000 a game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. So how'd you block that out though? Like, as a, if you put me in front of a room of 10 people to do anything, I'd be like crying my eyes out, but like, I mean, in front of 25,000, as you said, if one mistake and the whole lot of them are like giving you the gears, like how'd you block all that stuff out?
For me, it's quite easy. Like, I'm a guy who likes to, just like mess around and stuff and enjoy myself on the pitch and in training. But as soon as I get into those white lines, it's just business. Like, I'm so focused on the game and what I need to do as a player, like individually and as for my team. Like, the noise is just blocked out. Like, the only person I really listen for is my teammates and then the coach, obviously. But when my dad was able to come watch me play, I would just try and listen for him because he's my biggest critic, and I know if I'm playing well, he'll always say, this is what you need to do better. So I'd always listen for him, obviously the coach and my teammates, but it definitely is hard to hear sometimes,
Yeah,
especially in the environment.
yeah. As I said, like, I mean, it's something that I would not be able to do whatsoever. So I mean, like just clicking back to the national team. So it's a big thing for you, like, as I said, you're in the USL, so you're not like part of a big European team or an MLS team. So how are you going to keep yourself in the window to make sure that you're still noticed? Because I mean, obviously you're going to hit the under 23, you're going to be past that stage now, and you're going to be looking to get into the senior team. So what do you think you have to do yourself to keep yourself on the radar?
Yeah, for me, it's just playing consistent minutes, and obviously they look at stats. So getting on the score sheet, assisting, and just like, yeah, that's honestly the best way to put it, is just keeping myself on the team sheets and scoring.
So is that a part of your game that you think you need to work on to, like, to make sure you're scoring more goals? Like, you practice like shooting a training, like you one of those guys that stays behind and, like, the Ronaldo thing where you're just practicing an hour after training, or are you just like?
Yeah, most definitely. I think I train a lot, and I think with my ability, uh, I'm I should score more. But I've grown up. My dad always says this to me. He's always like, "Oh, you want to assist more than you score," and it's just, I think that mindset I need to change. Well, I've been trying to change it. Um, but it's just like, for me, it's just tough because I'm not a selfish person. If I'm 2v1 with the keeper, I'm always gonna pass it. So I think I just need to become more selfish, especially like if I'm trying to get back to the top level in MLS or whether it's in Europe. I just need to be more selfish and like individually knock on a bit.
I think if I was a coach and you're in a 2v1 situation and you don't pass it, I'd be pretty pissed off. I don't think that's selfish. I think that's just common sense, because if you miss it,
Yeah,
you're gonna get your ass chewed out at halftime, right? So, well, I mean, like, at the end of the day, like, it's when you're playing in the 10 role or you're playing as a winger, like, assists are your bread and butter, right? I mean, like, the goals are nice, like a nice cherry on top, but at the end of the day, you're supposed to be assisting and stuff like that. So I mean, I think your dad's kind of right, to be perfectly honest with you. So just to wrap things up, I noticed that you played in the Toulon tournament as well when you were. What was that experience like? Because I mean, you were playing against some of the best young players in Europe at the time. What was that experience like for yourself?
I thought it was amazing. I honestly had that was like some of my best football I've played, like at a U20 level. And I was just enjoying my time. Like, I was playing the number 10, and John Herdman and Marbiello were the coaches there, and they were like, just free roam, do your thing, like create numbers. And I think that's where I'm my best, is when I'm just able to roam around and get on the ball here, then dribble there, or running behind. It's just like a free roam. But I think that's when I'm at my best. But obviously, coaches have different structures and they see me in different positions and my roles. So, but yeah, the Toulon was amazing. Some of the names that have come out that tournament are unbelievable.
I was looking through, man. Jesus Christ, and like you like, I think Jonathan David was on the team with you for Canada and stuff like that. Like, it's incredible when you look back. Like, I mean, you're only about 23, and already this amount of people that you've played alongside. Like you ever like just take stock of it and go like, holy shit,
Yeah,
I'm not bad.
yeah. I think it's just crazy to see some guys like Jonathan David. Like, was now in TFC, Vancouver, Montreal. He was just playing in Ottawa. And then, I got this move to Belgium, and, he's, look at him now. He's started in Champions League today. So it's just
scored.
It's just crazy to see the come up of some guys. And as I said before, like, I'm just happy for them. Obviously, I would have loved to have been in their position, but at the end of the day, I'm not, and I gotta work hard to get to their position. So I just kind of use it as motivation at the end of the day.
Like you're not in a bad position, man. Like, you're in the second tier of US football. You've got a nice apartment there by the looks of it. You're playing football. It looks like you're enjoying life. So I mean, like the rest will come. It's just about like just taking stock of where you are, and it's great to see you enjoying your football. You can see it like when I'm watching the games, because I get to watch them on YouTube, and seeing you and Charlie play together, you can kind of see as I played together before, and it's great to watch. So the last question we always ask everybody, I never ask anybody to prepare, but I gave you the chance. That's how much I respect you. So you're going to play in a 5-side tournament. From the players you played with, man, who makes your team?
Are we talking four players and a goalie, or 5 and a goalie?
It's 5 players in total. A lot of people don't put a goalie. They just put 5 outfield players and play last man back. So it's up to you, man. You can put a goalie in if you want to. That's not against the rules.
Okay, so all right, so I'll go Charlie.
Of course, or else your dinner's gonna be like have too much pepper in it or something, right?
I'll put Liam Fraser in there.
Nice.
2 of them best passers I've seen so far. I'll go Tristan Borges, cause class, Canadian Messi. And I would put Malik Johnson from Tampa Bay, he's on Real Salt Lake now. We grew up together, since 11. We played against each other, and then we did the whole TFC together. I think Malik should be in MLS or in Europe. Like, I think he's class. And then myself. And if not me, I would put Dane St. Clair in net, because that's my boy. I've seen with his feet.
Dane St. Clair is an amazing person. I used to do an MLS show when I got to interview him, and he is the most humblest guy I think I've ever got a chance to talk to. He's a really, really nice guy, and he just burst into the team for Minnesota, and like he's just so on the level. And he's a great guy. I totally would pick him on my team too. So, man, it's been amazing. I really appreciate you giving me so much time. I know you want to get off your dinner and all that kind of stuff. So I hope you enjoyed it. It's been a blast, and it's great for people here in Canada to get to hear about people that we don't always get to hear about. And that's what I love about this system, Zoom, and I just love about the USL and the CPL has given players like yourself the chance to keep going and hit the heights. So thanks a million, man. Just before you go, Tristan Borges, the Canadian Messi, Marco Bustos calls himself the Canadian Messi. So I think you're going to start a big rivalry there. So
my thing is you can't call yourself something.
Yeah, I love it.
I know Bustos is a good player, so I've known Tristan since I was like 10 years old. So
I love it. He's definitely good enough to be in your team. So say that to Charlie for me, man. It's been amazing. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your night.
You as well. Thank you.
Thanks,
appreciate
pal. Cheers.
it. Yeah.